Hi, my name's Nina Tarniser, and I'm delighted to introduce this young and award-winning painter, already a signature painter member of the Florida Watercolor Society, and she's based in Tampa, Florida. Ava Ghayoumi graduated with her bachelor's in art and design from the Tehran Institute of Technology in 2015. She now lives in Tampa and is active in Florida's art community. Ava is a portrait and figurative painter and works to illustrate the duality of both human unity and their individuality. She works both from photos and live models. I'd like to share her artist statement. It's really great. To me, painting is a kind of visual poetry that is a song frozen in time. With each stroke, I try to paint the feeling and emotions that connect us through this human experience, to understand that we are all one, different waves, but the same ocean. Introducing Ava Ghayoumi presenting Dance with Watercolor. Ava?
Hi everybody, I'm so glad to be here. It's my honor. Hope you enjoy my video.
Hi, that was great. Thank you, Ava.
Thank you so
It
much.
turned out well. Lots of questions.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's start with everybody always asks about paint. What brand paints do you use? They were particularly interested about the alizarin crimson and a description of your black.
Yeah. Um, for the alizarin crimson, I use the brand Winsor and Newton, and I usually use Winsor and Newton, Daniel Smith, or the Saint Petersburg, which is a Russian brand, and I used to use that a lot. Not that much anymore, but sometimes for certain colors I use that still. And to make my black, it really depends on the rest of the painting. I make my black or gray or light gray, blending the complementary colors, because blending two complementary colors gives you a beautiful neutral color, beautiful, often gray. And but if you saturate that, you can get a black, or sometimes use the third color as in a color wheel. You can achieve that beautiful dense black. So it really depends on the rest of the painting and the colors I'm using on that particular painting. Like in this one, if I had time and it wasn't a demonstration, I would have used the alizarin crimson with this complementary, which is a Viridian green, to achieve that black. And by repeating the process, I would try to get that black instead of using the that black from the paint that comes from the paint dye. I don't like that because it's often very flat, and when it dries, you can tell the difference. The colors turns very mute, very flat. It's not very flattering to your painting.
Particularly for organic things, I've noticed.
Yeah, and for like a painting that is very emotional and is like, especially if your painting is mostly the wet technique, it doesn't work. But if it's like a dry painting, it's dry brush, I think black is fine, black from the paint. But for like something like what I did, black is not a good idea.
Ah, I see. Well, that's very helpful. Was it like a Mars black or an ivory black?
Yeah, it was a Mars black.
Ah, okay. That's great. And that's very helpful. Do you find the Viridian much easier to control like than phthalo green, which is
The another cool green. I really liked. I tried like when I'm making my own palette, try choosing a color. I try to stick to like limited color, not to distract myself too much when I'm because I do a spontaneous painting. Like sometimes like when I start with one color, I decide like one or two color. I decide on like a third color in the middle of the painting. So when my color palette that I use is limited, it helps me not to get too confused and make the best decision at time. So I try to like choose one cool color, cool like green for my palette. So the color cool green that I chose for my palette that I'm using right now uh, this year is Viridian green. I try to stick with that, but maybe like eventually I will switch to another cool color that is more like beautiful. But for now, it's this one.
Yeah. And of course, they want to know about your brushes. They see that you have some kind of squirrel mop
Yes.
and the small brush. They want to hear about your brush choices.
I use two kinds of brush, like the synthetic and the natural brush, which is a square brush. A square brush is a Winsor and Newton, and it's the number. If I'm not wrong, for that painting must be number 2, but I have a bigger one as well. But this painting was like 20 to 15, I guess, the dimension. So it wasn't that big. I used the number 2 square brush, and for that small brush, it really just like I tried when I go to go to a store and try to pick up a new synthetic brush. I just like try to see what I connect and what if I like the tips and I like the hole. This one was Da Vinci, and the number I think must be like 2, 3. It's a small Da Vinci, and but I switch between different brands for the synthetic brush because I don't think it's that important. It's really, and they, I get rid of them very fast because I think it's this case with everybody that we tend to destroy those synthetic small brushes all the time by not cleaning them properly or like abusing the tips on the painting and stuff. So it really that it's not that important, but that one was Da Vinci.
Oh, good. Well, it's important to be able to sacrifice them for art.
Exactly, exactly.
Could you talk about what paper you were using on?
Yes, it was if I'm not wrong, it's something that it's arches. I always use arches, but I recently got a Stonehenge paper from Cathy, and I really like that as well. I love that it's so hard to control, so you have to get loose and get more spontaneous. And but mostly I use arches.
300 pound or 140?
Oh no, 300 because I don't like stretching. The
Oh,
easier
yeah.
it is, the more convenient it is. I'm lazy.
Well, you work in wet and wet a lot. That's wet
Yes,
paper.
yeah.
So you need it. So you're wetting the paper, and it's generally a wet on wet process until you dry it thoroughly, and then you start again with a second layer.
It's wet and wet at first, but as my paper start getting drier and drier, my brush gets more dry as well. So it's like a balance. It's like a dance. Like you try to constantly control these two aspects. Like when my paper is very wet at the start, I try to use the square brush because it holds more paint and water at the same time, and it's more like wet and wet. So I do that, but eventually I switch on synthetic brush, which holds less water and is easier to control. So it kind of turns into like a damp brush on a wet surface, or like the dry brush at the end on a damp surface. And then I stop.
That's
Stop
great.
and like for with paintings that have lots of details, I at the end, like the last layer, sometimes I do dry brush on dry surface for like details, like last details, like the darkness of the eyes, or like hair, or like something that I really want to stand out. I do the dry on dry, but it happens on very small, piece of painting, or at the last layer.
Ah, ah. And now we're asking questions about your photo process. Was this a live model, or did you go to a theater, or?
This one was actually from Janet Rogers' workshop a couple of years ago in Florida Watercolor Society's. It was her workshop at Florida Watercolor Society's convention 3 years. I guess it was no 4 years ago. I'm not sure it was 3 or 4 years ago, because we have been having these
It's hard to
conventions. Yeah, online is a little bit, it doesn't. It feels different, having the real convention and the online. So I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago, and there was like live ballerina. I took photo of them. I still use those photos um, for some paintings, and it's from that. So they were like
Ah,
live model that I took photo, and it's on my archive. I still use that. Hopefully, Jan Rogers would have like another of those beautiful workshops for the next Florida Watercolor Society, and I can participate and take more photos.
I'd like you to be backstage at a ballet and be able to take the
Oh, that would
photos
be
throughout.
great. That would be great. Hopefully, with like the pandemic's over, and we can do all this stuff again.
Right. Oh, so wonderful. In your drawing, do you draw from the photos and?
Like usually I have like a photo on my laptop. My laptop is in the corner. I see like try to um, do the basic drawings, everything, and like the drawing is very important because it's a foundation. So I try to do that and make the connection and understand the anatomy and everything, the movement of the body, the muscle and everything on that stage. So you don't want to skip the drawing stage ever, because that would help you grow as a painter.
It's so fundamental.
Yes.
Yes. And so, do you draw it right on the paper yourself?
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, did you have any comments or anything additional that you wanted to say now that you've seen your own video?
Yeah. I try to mute myself a lot, but just um, I annoyed myself a lot. I hope I didn't annoy everybody else.
You do an excellent job. We really have enjoyed it, and thank you for doing this. I'll also just mention, of course, you have a website,
Yes.
and you have additional videos on the website.
Sometimes I post on, I have a YouTube channel, and I try to stay active and record videos and post there, and try to like, I haven't done it that much like past couple of months, but I try to go back and do that again. But there are multiple videos there.
Oh, that's great.
You
Well,
can
and a
find
shout.
that from my website.
Well, I hadn't thought about a shout out to our members to maybe somebody is connected with the ballet or theater can help you get back there backstage.
That would be great.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ava. It's been great.
Thank you.